Like Rashad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another MC episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, we got Carlton. We got Chris as we discuss Spider-Man No Way Home, which is ironic because everybody went home. But it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a long movie, good movie. But we'll talk about what
spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler review. Everything's a spoiler review with us, but we're gonna talk about the spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, why are you watching? That's my question, really, to be honest. But anyway, Carlton, you're new to the family. Appreciate it. What did you think of Spidey? What you got?
Overall, I thought the movie was great. It was a real emotional roller coaster throughout, right? A lot of I think what we all suspected did come into fruition, right? With cameos, storyline, all that. Some of the surprises for me were like Andrew Garfield's Peter and Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, right? I mean, his little bit was you blink and it's over, but it was kind of really important because I think it solidified some things, makes you wonder what is going to be in the future for MCU as far as Daredevil, Matt Murdock, right? Especially with, I mean, I know you haven't seen it yet, but with Hawkeye, they had some recent reveals right last week. We'll see where that goes next week. But also, you know, like with other tie-ins to other properties, right? Echo, Black Widow, who knows what they'll do with it. Something I wish that they could have further done with the movie was like maybe pull in a little bit more from like Miles Morales' universe. You know, there was a mention, you know, Electro said, you know, I kind of wish they had a black Spider-Man, and everybody, you know, is like laughing in the audience because it's like, you know, there is one, right? You know, you have the Afro-Latino Spider-Man who has dealt with a version of Peter Parker, which one we don't know, right? So they could have, I think, done a little bit more with that, but I get it. You know, there's some constraints. It's an animated movie versus this, you know, live action movie. Another thing I thought that was really interesting was the potential foreshadowing with Ned, right? So there was a discussion with Tobey Maguire's Peter where he's talking about, oh yeah, you know, my best friend was a villain and he died in my arms. And Ned's like, oh, that won't happen to me. But, you know, for me as a longtime Marvel Comics reader, if you know who Ned Leeds is, he's actually the Hobgoblin in the comics. Yep. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. I know they've announced some future Spider-Man projects, so I don't know if that's going to be something that they'll bring in later. But I thought Ned was used pretty well. You know, me being Filipino, hey, what's up? But him having like using the magic with Doctor Strange's ring, I thought that was kind of cool. On the topic of Ned, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Peter can rebuild his relationships with MJ and Ned, knowing now that they're not going to remember exactly who he is. And you kind of saw that in the coffee shop there at the end, right? It's like, okay, well, they obviously don't know who he is. It'll be interesting to see how they move forward with that. Only other last thing I can really think of, like I was completely caught off guard with May's death. Like in retrospect, when I think about it, it's like we probably should have seen it coming, but at that point, like I think there was like so much going on that you just kind of like don't think about it, and then it happens. Like, well, damn, all right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was a lot for that. Yeah. And she gave the line, you know, great power comes great responsibility. I was like, I felt a little bit forced, but they're like, that's what I knew she wasn't gonna make it. I was like, yeah. She said that. I was like, well, she out of here. Thank you for your parts in the MCU, but you are done. Nobody lives long after telling Spidey that.
Right.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think? What you got?
So I'm not, as you probably remember, when it comes to Marvel or just comic books. The two. What did I always say about the two characters they always redo? They always overdo, and I say it's like Batman and Spider-Man. So I'm not walking into this. I did like the other, the last two Holland films of Spider-Man. So I will say that. Not a fan of the Amazing Spider-Man films, but so I will say though I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. There was a lot of plot holes that I was just like, yeah, come on. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I was like, I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, Doctor Strange made everyone forget, but there's a thing called video. Did he erase that? But I'm like, but whatever. Or, or newspapers. And, I guess that's all in the spell too. But
and
whatever,
the whole fucking wall dedicated to him at the school.
Yeah.
But we'll let all that shit go.
Yeah, I guess that all goes away too. But whatever. But I was like, okay, it's a movie. It's okay. I was like, I let that go. I was like, all right, just enjoy the.
I did,
but that was bothering me. I was waiting for theirs online to be like, even videos. If you had a video, will now be erased. You know what I mean? Or something. I don't know. But overall, I thought it was cool. I would say for me the best moment in it. And that's the thing. I was not a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Amazing Spider-Man films. But I thought one of the most iconic scenes was when Garfield went to try to save Gwen and he couldn't. And just the emotion that was brought from him. I remember being in theaters feeling that, like, damn, right? That it was, I thought, in my opinion, the best scene in the entire film, even though I did love the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes was just chaos of him running around where MJ like, oh, yeah, we got, I accidentally left you on top of that steel beam. Like, you know what I mean? Thought all that was awesome. But for me, the best part was Peter trying to say, Holland, let me rephrase it. Holland trying to save MJ. He couldn't because something hit him. And then Garfield gets his redemption arc. And then he comes in, he saves him. And all of a sudden he saves him and he just starts crying. And then it was just, I don't know. I was like, it was corny, but part of me was like, oh, Garfield. Like, so I did like that moment. Even, I should have seen that coming. But that was, to me, I thought that was perfect. Matter of fact, ironically, even though I didn't, like I said, I didn't like the other Amazing Spider-Man films, I really did like Garfield in this. I thought every time they showed him, like, he brought in that emotion. I was like, damn, okay, I would not mind seeing you again, I guess, which is kind of crazy to say. You know what I mean? I guess, maybe we had these type of writers. Maybe I'll be okay with it. I did like that whole, like you pinpoint about the whole thing with Ned and the whole, like, I will never be a supervillain. I was like, that's not true. And then I was also thinking, I guess in this world he wouldn't until he lost his memory. And I was like, okay, now I can see an avenue of how he can become the Hobgoblin.
He forgot that he wouldn't.
Yes. And not only that, I found it kind of strange that Dr. Strange thought it was he said interesting when he found out that he's like that he could use, like, he was able to open that. And I was like, that line was in there for a reason. Like, I was thinking, like, what's inside of Ned? Is Ned, like, is it like Chris Pratt in Guardians and saying, how were you able to hold on to that so far? And then we found out that Chris Pratt had that special gene or whatever.
Celestial.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed in even though I liked the trailer of Doctor Strange, I wanted to see a post-credit scene. You know what I mean? And let's be real, that Venom scene was not it. You know what I mean?
No,
it was not it. I understand it, and actually, that's the thing. I did kind of think about. I was like, okay, now it makes sense of the end, like, well, within the movie of Venom, and then the post-credit scene with them talking about the different universes of the Venoms and the whole. I mean, I'm not Venoms. I'm sorry, but the symbiotes, the hive mind. I understand how, I guess, clearly how he knew Peter Parker, but my thing is, like, it was such a big deal at the end of Venom that I was like, oh, he's part of MCU, just for, like, psych, and I'm like. So, okay, but I get it. I guess they need a way to bring the symbiote in this one, but it's like, so is it like going to be a warring thing between Sony and the MCU? Like, it's going to be, so Venom got his own franchise, and now we got Spider-Man who's going to be Venom, unless they go through, but I take that back. There's Flash Thompson. So Flash Thompson becomes Venom. He becomes Agent Venom. So actually, that would probably be perfect if you got him becoming Agent Venom and Ned becoming Hobgoblin. So you got both his high school friends. Boom, become a straight villain. So I don't know. Other than that, though, I thought overall it was cool with a few other plot holes, which I'll bring up a little bit later. But other than that, it was cool. No one likes to say video, I guess. I don't know. All right, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So with the scene with Garfield saving MJ,
yeah,
my coworker Rob Ferguson and I, we called it because once we realized that all 3 Spider-Men were going to be in it, and we saw the preview of her falling, I was like, Rob, I didn't even see part 2 of Amazing Spider-Man because first one was such shit. I didn't even watch the second movie, but like. When I heard that his girl, I didn't. I was like, this is some straight shit. And I'm like, I'll just wait for the next iteration, but this motherfucker ain't it. Like, but when I heard that he lost his girl because she fell, and then I saw MJ fall, I was like, Rob, it has to be that he saves her, right? Because it has to be that redemption moment, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was so touching. Like I was touched with that.
Yeah.
So like it's the Aunt May dying. What I also appreciate may not be the right word, but Aunt May dying, what I thought about was the fact, I remember how many times we were going back and forth, and I was telling people, I was like, Tom doesn't have an Uncle Ben. Like, for whatever reason, his version of Spider-Man does not have an Uncle Ben, and Stark kind of filled that role. That the wannabe father figure that he looked up to, that he lost, like he kind of filled that role, but he did not have his own Uncle Ben. And I was like, and then this one kind of confirmed it with the other 2 guys were like, we lost our Uncle Ben. He's like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, and I was like, that was kind of cool. But the 3 Spider-Man, I think, look, what I liked about this movie is what I liked. The only thing I liked about the last Spider-Man movie, which was the post-credit scenes. To me, the post-credit scenes were more important than the movie itself, because they showed the future. Like when I saw like the Multiverse of Madness, I was like, this is what I came for. This shit is going to be awesome. Like, and then when we saw the evil Doctor Strange, I was like, this is what if. Like, this is what if maybe live action. And they got the opportunity to do it. So I was much more excited about that overall. But I think the double Spider-Man, I think the 3 Spider-Man lays the foundation that the next Endgame, Phase 4's Endgame movie could have minimum 3 Spider-Men, 2 Hulks, maybe 2 to 3 Fantastic Four teams.
War Machine.
There's only 1 War Machine in the MCU.
Well, you can bring in Terrence Howard before he puts in the suit.
With enough money and people like to putting their ego to the side. You're absolutely right.
Ego, yeah.
They're going to have multiple Kangs across multiple universes. And you're going to need multiple Avengers fighting dudes. But I mean, so what's his name? Killmonger could come back as the Flame. Chris Evans could come back. I mean, Wesley Snipes could suit back up as Blade. I mean, there's so many things they could do if they really, really push it and they give them enough money. Ben Affleck could come back as Daredevil next to the new Daredevil.
That'll be a little much.
It's gonna be messy.
It'll be way too messy. Like it's like it's one thing doing it once, but it just keep doing it. It's just like, okay, really? Like I think the thing is, everyone has always been debating about like which one's the better, like who's the best Spider-Man, and then so I guess this was like more of a fan thing where it was like, great, we got the Spider-Man. I don't think anyone would ever question who's the best Daredevil. I don't think people would ever question like who. But like which Fantastic Four you prefer? Usually people just say, yo, they both were kind of weak. So I don't know if you bring in both 2 weak Fantastic Four versions. And you see what I'm saying?
Well, they made, to your point, Andrew was better because the writing was better. Because
but Andrew also like backed up his movie though, which Michael B. Jordan did not back up Fantastic Four. He actually kind of just threw that movie under the bus. You really think that they're gonna be like all of a sudden? Yeah, I don't think he would want to suit up for Fantastic Four. You see what I'm saying?
As I said, if you can get the egos aside and you get enough money on the table and you get the right writers, and it's not a competition. The one Avengers team cannot take on all those Kangs. Like it's gonna be a multiverse situation. So they're gonna need other characters out there. And I'm saying, so it could be possible. But also Jessica Jones should be coming back. Luke Cage should be coming back. Like not Iron Fist in no way, shape, or form. But
Yes, Iron Fist, but not that version. Not him. Iron Fist is a cool character. Not that one. Not the Netflix version.
But if they can get Luke Cage, if they can get Luke Cage and Jessica Jones back, because I thought Jessica Jones was gonna be in She-Hulk. I mean, definitely.
Well, Daredevil's
gonna be in it.
Yeah.
But that could lead to that could lead to an MCU version of the Defenders at some point. I'm much more interested in how this laid the foundation for future phases than the movie itself for me. That's what I thought. What y'all to plot holes of what the fuck? No. Good parts. Jamie Foxx made this movie for me. Like, absolutely.
Really? Oh, okay.
Absolutely. The whole thing with him, like, are we gonna just act like I'm not standing here butt ass naked? I was like, Jamie Foxx, sir.
Yeah. You say that, I say Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe, I thought I was like, damn, this dude still got it. Like the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. And I like the fact that he did do most of his own stunts,
Yeah.
I saw that, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm stepping on your thing about James.
No. I mean, but I'm just saying, like he was true to his original character, right? Like he brought he was the first, right? So like it was important, I think, for him to still be like, like the Green Goblin, and he did. I mean, he brought it very well, and he made it a little bit more modern, but he stuck to his seriousness. That's what I'm saying. Like I was concerned that the silliness of the MCU was going to take away from the seriousness of these characters,
No comb over and the book, nothing.
And then but Jamie Foxx, the whole thing, like they acknowledged it. They were like, "Did you get a makeover or something, bro? Because you look good." It's like, well, yeah, like I don't know how it did it, but the Miles Morales line was like, I was like, that's it. They're like, they're letting us know that they acknowledge that at some point Miles is coming, and
he said a thing in Spanish at the end too when he said that, and I was like, oh. He said, like, at first when he said the black, I was like, oh, okay, you could be reaching till Jamie Foxx. Now, granted, there were people in the crowd laughing, and then Jamie Foxx said at the end, he said something in Spanish. And I was like, okay, that really was a Miles Morales reference. So, like,
just in case.
Just in case it wasn't. He said something in Spanish after saying, like, oh, it's like, I thought you'd be black. There'll be a black one somewhere out there in the universe. And he says something in Spanish. And then while people were laughing, I'm like, damn it. I'm like, y'all laughing. I couldn't hear what he was saying.
I didn't even hear that part because
me either.
He said something in Spanish and I couldn't even catch it other than like just telling. He said El Cielo something, and then Garfield just looked at him like cross-eyed or something. Yeah, that's
So I didn't understand why. How does Spider-Man paying for anything? Like if no one knows who he is, he don't have a job. Like, so how is he paying for an apartment? Is he going to join J. Jonah Jameson as the reporter reporting on Spider-Man? Is that what is he going to get back to that character now? Because now he has to pay his bills and the only thing he knows is Spider-Man. Like, is that where we're going with this?
That's probably where it's going to go. Because I know when you see him moving into his apartment at the end, you get the sense that he didn't get picked up for college because I think he's got like a GED book, right?
GED, yeah.
So he's probably going to have to schlep it as the photographer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they're going to go with that.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting if they go that. Now it's modern, right? So now he's gonna have a smartphone and some other bullshit, and he'll be flying around and be like, and Jay Jonah is gonna be like, his whole job is just Spider-Man, is anti-Spider-Man stuff. I love the whole how he was selling his own merch, like that shit was hilarious. Like really going for that InfoWars, obviously, inspired thing. I'm trying to figure out what station picked him up and gave him a whole studio just to shit on Spider-Man 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? I mean, that's a bit much.
Their version of Fox.
I mean, but
I was going. Maybe he was like their version of Brian Williams. Maybe he was like the Brian Williams of that version of New York City. He's like, that's Brian Williams. You just give him whatever he wants. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I was wondering like how they did that. And then to your point, so I asked Rob, I was like, again, technology, right? Let's say people's minds are erased, right? Mm-hmm. How can you not walk up to Doctor Strange, who like did the spell, and be like, were you wondering why you were floating over the Statue of Liberty yesterday? Yeah, I was kind of confused on that. Like, the reason. Like, I'm like, let me explain to you what happened. Like, the one person he should be able to explain this shit to is Doctor Strange.
So in the comic book, so that's the thing. I didn't understand why Strange said that. Like, made it seem like he wasn't going to remember. Because the comic book, when he did wipe everyone's minds, he remembered. Like that's how he was able to remember the party about the thing because that's what's supposed to happen. The person who cast a spell remembers. But then he made it seem like he would not remember. He's like, see you around or whatever. And I was like, wait, not only did you contradict what you said before wrong, but in the comic books you did remember. And it was everybody else that didn't remember. So it's just like, so I was like, so I don't know. I mean,
but then first when he first was going to do the spell, he didn't give a hold up. First, a teenager convinces a grown ass man to be like, I need you to wipe I need you to mission Men in Black the entire world. This was Men in Black 2 for the record, because I remember that when all of a sudden the Statue of Liberty was one of those machines. When Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, they got done fighting the big bad. At the end of the day, Will Smith was like, well, how are we going to make all these New Yorkers forget what they saw? And Tommy Lee Jones was like, boop. And it turned out that the Statue of Liberty's torch was one of those devices that wiped everybody.
I don't even remember that.
I don't either.
Yeah, it was that bullshit. But much to this point, like whoever wrote this movie watched that movie and said, I got an idea. Like, we're going to go to the Statue of Liberty and be like, I'm going to wipe the entire world's memory so 3 kids can go to college. What in the fuck? Like,
I don't. I think it's just when you look at like especially science fiction films that takes place in like New York and California, they always have everything focused on either Statue of Liberty or the Golden State Bridge. Like it's just like DC, like they do the Washington Memorial, like just like it was Ghostbusters 2. They made Lady Liberty Wall. And guess what? With the whole thing opening up in New York City, where it was Statue of Liberty, it was. I'm just kidding about it's just the principle that this man was like, yeah, I'll wipe the whole world's memory so you guys can go to college. I like the beginning of the movie, and he was like, and not only that, and then I mean, my thing was like, he's like, yeah, you did help save the world, and I'm like, it's like, well, yeah, he did try to get the gauntlet off, but he was a stowaway for starters, and then he kind of got it off, but didn't.
Like,
well, you know what? I take that back. I guess when he got the stones away, I guess. That I'll take that back. Endgame, he did kind of help. He was able to run away with the stone as long as he can before Captain Marvel got it and then Stark got it.
But my point really though is like everyone forgot about that. Everybody forgot that he helped save the universe because they're treating this guy like he's a straight piece of shit. And
so I can explain that. So in the comic book, when people forgot, like for example, Reed Richards forgetting, like when Strange made everybody forget. Reed even has a line, or was it Spectre? One of them had a line where they were like, "Oh wait, there was someone that helped." He's like, "Oh," and then there was a thing in their mind was like, "No, I'm not allowed to remember," and then it was just blurry. So everything that was blurry, and then they try to piece stuff together a different way. So that's why, like certain times, like when they were like, "Oh, I got the scar here," and I'm like, "Someone scarred me." I'm trying to remember how that happened. And then that's just how it was in the comic book. You see what I'm saying? So I think they should have done a better job doing that. Like with MJ with the Black Dahlia thing that she got from Parker in the last film. He should have. I wish there was a line to say, "Oh, you know that looks nice. Where'd you get that from?" She should have been like, "Yeah, I can't remember." Like if they would have done something like that, that would have been perfect. But
they didn't.
They did. Yeah.
But yeah. Carlton, what do you think? You think Doctor Strange made sense? Trying to help this kid get into college.
No, it didn't make sense. It was definitely a bit of a stretch there. But I get it. They needed it to push the plot forward, right? As far as plot holes, I think Chris brought it up earlier with oh shit, I forgot.
The whole like everyone forgetting or
yeah, like the whole thing, like you have like video footage, you've got stuff on the internet, like is that going to be erased? Like I don't know if that's like a loophole somewhere in the spell, like in the little minor details or whatnot, that was definitely one I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, there's definitely stuff out there. What about all of the daily fixes, like hourly footage and stories on the kid, right? Is that all going to go away? This is going to, definitely huge plot hole. I think another plot hole that I thought about it was earlier in the film too. Wong. So Wong is aware that Strange was gonna work with Peter on the spell, right?
Yeah.
But does he factor in to that whole, like, he obviously didn't want to know the details, but he knew that he was going to do something. So, if he was in another dimension or whatever, does that mean that applies to him as well? I don't know.
That's a good point. Right? So, like, does he come back knowing that Peter Parker, this Peter Parker, is Spider-Man, right? That's what you're asking.
Right. Yeah.
So like Captain Marvel and all of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Also a good point.
Guardians. All of them, I guess.
Nick Fury.
Yeah, he's not even on Earth right now.
How did random ass government official know that Nick Fury has been off the planet for a year? Like, and then who's been running around as Nick Fury in the last movie? Like, that was
I was gonna say, how was it revealed that there was Skrulls? There were the Skrulls. You see what I'm saying? Like, I guess, I don't know.
I mean, like, that was that's a secret war. So, like, who knew that? Like, how did this dude know it? Because then again, Nick Fury has been doing shit. Nick Fury has been doing shit for a little while. Like, so I was like, what is happening? So,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so Rob said to the spell, he said that this spell somehow it does that. It goes through technology, cell phones, satellites, and internet and shit. And I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, now you're just talking gibberish. Like, I'm like, no. Like, I will accept aliens and spells. I will not accept a spell that somehow goes through Mary J's fucking smartphone and deletes all her selfies with her boyfriend. All right. And Net's fucking smartphone with his best friend. Like, they got 150 photos just from Far From Home. Just from Far From Home. They should have multiple photos of them hanging out, like, together.
Yeah.
Like that.
And not even just digital stuff. Like, there was print newspapers they even had.
That's what
says Parker. So it's like, so you got to get the print as well, not just digital.
All that goes away. I'm like, you can kiss my ass, dude. Like, that doesn't. No, buddy, no. And then I was like, okay. So again, Doctor Strange, at first he didn't give a fuck about losing his memory about Spider-Man. Spider-Man beats one of the best sorcerers in the universe because he knows geometry. I was like, fuck this movie. I was like, fuck this movie. So there's two things. I feel two ways about it. I feel it's stupid as fuck. That's my first feeling, right?
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I was happy because what I didn't like about Spider-Man 2, and I said that when I did a review, Spider-Man 2 felt like Iron Man 4. It was so much Iron Man. Spider-Man wasn't even, he was irrelevant to his own movie. But in this, they stupidly pulled a Doctor Strange out. Fucking Wong said, fuck it, I don't care what's going on with the multiverse. I'm doing my own thing. So it was a Spider-Man movie. It was him and his other. So I like that. But like the way they got rid of Doctor Strange was ridiculous.
So you can't do that, Dave. You can't do that. Because when I keep saying the same thing about, oh, y'all keep having Batman beat Superman's ass. She's like, well, Batman's the smartest detective in the world. And I'm like, no, sir. If I was Superman and whatnot, I would jump in, I would run to that Batcave so fast before he can grab his utility belt and snap his neck. But no, you guys keep saying, oh, well, Batman, yeah, I know you don't have powers, but he got the white privilege on the side and he's rich.
You are talking about Jay.
Like,
you are talking about Jay. I have never.
So trust me. Spider-Man makes more sense taking down Doctor Strange, which is saying a lot.
With geometry.
Batman taking out
Superman. With geometry. In his own world. Hold up. Doctor Strange is like, this is the world I'm
agreeing with you, but I'm just saying that it's coming from you. That's what the problem is.
You find me the video, sir. I submit to you, you will not find a video where I defended the fact that Batman could be Superman. Like, Superman should just murder all of them and just be like, I'm done. That made me mad. Wong not coming back made me mad. If the multiverse is falling apart, the Sorcerer Supreme should be like, I got this. Like this is my job. Like, let me come and help out at the minimum. I would have best believed that he was hanging out with Shang-Chi at the fucking karaoke machine. Like, I would have took that better.
That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to show him like either doing that or maybe training Abomination or something.
Actually, to that, you got to think about the timeline. This is taking place immediately after Spider-Man 2. So WandaVision hasn't happened yet. None of that has happened yet, actually. So this is the first multiverse problem event, actually. So Wanda is still crazy in New York, in New Jersey, fucking up that town. Like that's where she's at right now. Fucking cat. So Black Widow's dead. I'm saying Bucky, and because I'm like, where's Bucky and Falcon? But like Bucky's going through counseling right now, and Falcon is working for the Air Force, trying to get his sister's boat working. Like none of them are like are we. So yeah, none of that shit has happened. So so I'm like, oh, okay. But that's important because I was like, where's Falcon? Like, where's the new Captain America? Where is Bucky to help out? If you're gonna say this character exists, you have to own it and be like, where are these people? You can't just pick and choose which characters you want to fuck with, because then it looks inconsistent.
Oh, you mean as far as having Strange in it?
Yeah, like if Strange is here, then like you can't do that.
I can kind of understand why they went that direction. I mean, in the sense of, I mean, when you think of like, for example, even though they haven't, they're not established themselves as Sinister Six, but when you do have the Sinister Six, it really is usually the Sinister Six just literally just against Spider-Man and maybe the Spider-Man family, like Spider-Man and was the Black Cat, you know what I mean? Or sometimes even Venom will help out with Spider-Man, but other than that, he don't really have other folks kind of necessarily always fighting his battles, or at least his villains necessarily. But in I guess the way to build up this movie, especially seeing how the next movie will be Doctor Strange, I guess you kind of need something alleged to jump off of, and that's why it makes sense having Strange in this one. I guess in a way,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I felt this movie again. This movie was necessary to get Doctor Strange going. That's how I felt. Yeah.
However, you know what? I know you said the best part. I mean, the thing that made the movie for you was Jamie Foxx. Here's the problem I have. Even though I like Jamie Foxx and I thought Jamie Foxx was in this film, I mean, good in this film. Jamie Foxx shouldn't have been in this film because Electro doesn't know who Peter Parker is. I mean, doesn't know who Spider-Man is. I rewatched the second film. There was nothing. Electro did not know who Spider-Man's true identity.
He shouldn't have came here knowing.
He should not have known. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was like, okay.
Plot hole.
You know what I mean?
But he's Jamie Foxx though, so
I mean, Miles makes sense because even when Miles became Spider-Man for the first time or whatnot, I mean, he knew of Spider-Man, but he didn't know until much later on that Peter Parker was the infamous Spider-Man, So because I saw people complain like, why don't y'all just have Miles in it? I was like, well, for one, if you remember, Ned was saying, find me Peter Parker. So for one, it's not going to find, if he said Miles Morales, that's one thing. Because people were like, oh, where's Kirsten Dunst? So I'm like, Peter Parker. Like now, if they said, find me MJ, find me Mary Jane. Well, actually, you probably get a bunch of them. You know what I mean? You might find some strippers named that. You know what I mean? But
hey, it's a name, right? You said a name, damn it. And I brought you.
Yeah, the name. Yeah, Peter Parker. Yeah, but I think of Peter Parker is such a common name, though. Like, I'm surprised. Like, why don't they just get like some a UPS driver? He's like, hey, I'm Parker. What's up, man?
That would have been good. If that would have Black Man, that would have been good. Carlton, do you have any problems with the consistency of this thing?
I mean, I kind of like brought up some of those issues earlier. It was fine. It wasn't fine, but it was, the thing that I have to remember is that it's something that they've got to push their plot forward, right? They don't always work through all the plot holes. We can pick at plot holes all day. I know you and I at work talked about Eternals like for 45 minutes. Just
we walked around, dude. We're like, this is that bullshit.
Right? Like, I would say it wasn't that bad, but yeah, it was.
That suit made me mad.
Which one?
What was suit?
So like
the
at
black
the
suit?
end when he went to the I understood that because he stripped off the other thing because he had to clean it off for some bullshit, and then somehow Aunt May was able to clean that shit. Doesn't make any sense to me. But like the fact that he made his own like traditional comic book suit. Yeah. It looked iconic. Like he went back and I get, but I'm like, why? Your suit worked. Like, did the suit forget who you were? Like, because of the spell, are we gonna say that his mechanical suit that Stark gave him forgot that he was fucking Peter Parker / Spider-Man, so it didn't work?
Are you talking about at the end?
Huh?
Are you talking about at the end when Oh, you think it's maybe because he saw the other two and he was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I can make a little suit like theirs. I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm like, it doesn't.
I figure, I don't know, maybe he was like, he just realized, damn, these two Spider-Mans before me, they're able to do it without having Stark Tech. Maybe I need to just get better, become better. Like, you know, yeah, they don't have little arms coming out. I don't know.
So you realize the plot hole, right? It just didn't make it, like, again.
Yeah.
If it was a casualty of the spell, because the suit was designed for Peter Parker, it was made for Peter Parker to be Spider-Man, right? So if the suit said, "I don't know who you are," and as that's bullshit. That's bullshit because Ned hacked that shit in 5 minutes in the hotel room. So fuck that too. Like he was able to go, "Hello, guy." I mean, I was like, so no, there's no reason why he should not be wearing his suit as given to him. And he went to the iconic look. It looked good, but it didn't make no damn sense, bro. Yeah. Also, what I liked about the Spider-Verse movie that they didn't do in this movie was that relationship between the senior Spider-Man and him. Like what I like the guy who's like old and he's like, my back hurt and I lost Mary J and fuck my life, you know, like that kind of mentorship of, bro, I've been here, done that, you know, and like I love that dynamic, that kind of mentorship dynamic. Like in this, I kind of wanted Tobey Maguire to be that, like when you've been doing this for 20 years, bro.
Yeah,
you can't be as optimistic as you are right now. Shit gets real sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But we work through it. Andrew Garfield brought more of that than Toby. Like Toby was still somehow like positive. And I thought he would have flushed out his relationship with Mary Jane enough to say you can have a future. You can have someone in your life that you love and it can work out. Because I was like, what the fuck was he saying? Like, is he and Mary Jane still together? Did they get divorced? Like, is she dead? Like he was very, very vague about his MJ and what that.
No, he said, well, if you remember the end of Spider-Man 3, I mean, he basically MJ basically they split up like at the gravesite, and essentially he just walked away from her. He walked away from her and just said like, hey, you know, is my way of protecting you. I have to step away, you know. But then it was like at the very end, it was like she still knew that he was out there, so she had to smile. And I think that's why he even had that line like, it's complicated, like because some people always theorize. At least I've been hearing like people theorize like, oh, well, did MJ and Peter really separate? Because MJ kind of made it seem like, nah, he's still around, and I think that's why they had that line saying,
okay, I forgot. I thought they made it work in the end. I must have forgot how the movie ended. I'm sorry.
Nah, he realized like, look, no matter what happens, especially when you have Sandman, you got Sandman, Venom, and what was and Osborn, like all three of them coming together.
Hobgoblin,
like,
it was Hobgoblin.
All three of them.
Right? Hobgoblin, Venom, Hobgoblin, Venom, and Sandman.
Yeah,
that's who was going up against.
Yeah. So I got that. I gotta tell you though, one thing I did, I kind of had a problem with May's death. And you're right, it did catch me off guard. But the problem I have about killing off May, right, is that, okay, obviously, yes, you need Uncle Ben, right? But, and I know she was supposed to be, it's clear that obviously she's supposed to be that Uncle Ben. But guess what? The reason why Peter was able to, or at least any Spider-Man was able to make it through to pretty much anything was because he had his aunt, like a mentorship. So whether his aunt or uncle dies, guess what? He has the other. And when both of them died, like even when in the comic book, when his Aunt May died, MJ, his wife, was around. Now, the problem I have is it made him really sad towards the end, in the sense of like, not only does he not have his parents are dead, he doesn't have his uncle, or he doesn't have a uncle. Maybe she never married. I don't know. But his Aunt May is gone. His mentor Stark is gone. Happy don't even know who he is. He don't have his friends. He doesn't even have his girl. Now he's on his own. That's what was like, oh shit. He doesn't even have. That's why, to me, I had the problem with Aunt May, because at least if he, like, the Aunt May thing kind of kept him together. Now he's just unstable. A sad kid.
He's suicidal.
Yeah, I'm just like, damn.
He's out there
like,
whooping ass.
I want to just give him a hug.
He's Andrew Garfield. Like, he's like, I ain't got shit, so I'm just gonna be out here beating people up. Like, he's like, damn it. Like, I'm tired of shit. He whooped Green Goblin's ass. Like, but it's MCU, right? So I know you want to get to kill him, But I was kind of so I like Peter being like, no, bro, like I know how you feel. This no, like I did like that. I did like that, and him getting stabbed in the back, but he's still alive. I'm like, this is the MCU, bro. No one ever dies. Like this shit just keeps on rolling. Like, I like that. Anyway, we have so Carlton, what do you think? Any final thoughts for that or the movie? What you think?
My final thoughts. Let's see. Come back to me. I had one. Oh, okay. So really quick on the topic of MJ. So I believe I'd have to watch it again, and it's weird because I watched it like 5 times in like a 2-week period. But in Into the Spider-Verse, right? Peter Parker and MJ, they are like divorced, right? Yeah. So is that like the same Peter Parker? Is that one of the Peters that was like brought in from, is that like Toby or Andrew Garfield's Peter? Or is that like a different one? So yeah.
Well, I'm sure that movie was not based on it was not based on the movies. They made up these characters to be like, but they needed that senior, they need the older one because Miles was so new and so, positive, right? Like they needed someone to kind of balance them out. You know what I'm saying? But to the point of like, again, I remember the first movie, like it didn't work out with him and MJ anyway, right? So maybe they were trying to go down that route, but I think the animated movie did it much better. They sold that much better about how he was dealing with the pain and how Miles helped him become more like he could have hope again. Remember, like he was like, go work Spider-Man. Like it helped him like get over his shit, so he can maybe go and fix MJ, him and MJ.
Yeah,
and I thought about that. But we gotta see how that goes. We gotta see. Yeah, like it's the only thing. I was like, I felt. That's the only Spider-Man they could have worked with, right? So they need Miles. I just is Miles gonna be a multiverse insert? Or are they gonna start an origin story? Like, how do you think Miles is coming in? Is he phase 4 or phase 5?
I'd probably phase 6 at this point.
Yeah, because they're already building they got the second they got the trailer for the sequel, so they're already trying to do their universe. So I don't think they're trying to keep them separate from everything, which I think is smart. I mean, you also got people wanting more, and so.
But that's a different thing. I'm saying, like,
but Sony's not going to intertwine the two. That doesn't make any sense for them to do in the movie. Like, I don't know what company would do that. With the movie, especially if you're talking about a TV show, if you have like a TV show of Miles, an anime TV show of Miles, and then doing the movie, that's one thing, But you're talking about an actual full-length movie and then having another movie that's live action. I don't think they're going to go that route. But yeah. Oh, another thing I got to say that I wish they had. I don't know, maybe the extended scene in another version. I wanted to see. Okay, so you fix these villains. Hopefully, they don't die in their world. I want to see, like, even if it's a small montage of them back in their regular world. Like Doc Ock got control of it. Maybe he's like saving kids himself. Maybe he is a hero back in the thing, and he's working along with Tobey Maguire. And Tobey Maguire's like, "Good job, Ock." You know what I mean? Why everyone's just laughing that his name is Doc Ock, or something,
That's a good point.
And he has a little bit of Stark technology still or something that like something like that. I don't know. It made me think like, oh, maybe they really died in real life. I don't know, because we didn't see a scene. And finally, I'm pretty sure they won't bring this up in Strange, but I thought it was interesting how in the clouds there was some familiar stuff I saw in the clouds when they showed the universe is opening up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only seen the movie once, but I could have sworn in the clouds where you heard like some roaring stuff, like some creatures in there. You saw one guy with like the horns and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if from Asgard. Yeah. There was a shadow character in the background that was human-like, and it was like something coming out of his eyes. I'm thinking, bruh, they did not put this. I was like, is that Cyclops in the background? I don't know. It was very fast. It was very fast in the clouds. I don't know. I want to at least like hopefully they reveal maybe not him necessarily, but at least like maybe one or two of those characters or whatnot. Or maybe when Blade comes in, it's like, oh, I fell through the universe or blah blah blah. I don't know. I wanted more out of those clouds that I know damn well will never be answered. You know what I mean?
So to that point, as you wrap up, if the MCU thought out the phase that far, right? If they know the end game of phase 4, right? They could have put that into the clouds, right? To be like, trust me, like there's another Blade coming, that you could have saw something to be like, okay, we're gonna see these characters later. So maybe the outline was because they're still working on the script and they're trying to figure that shit out. But it's like you're gonna see that thing where all of them like kind of come together. The 2 Spider-Man are coming back. This is not the last time. Like, I mean, and they will definitely come back.
I don't know. They need to hurry up because Tobey Maguire is looking rough.
Yeah. But dude, yeah.
But it's modern day though, so that's the thing. Like a lot of people, I know some people were upset and they're like, "Said, weren't they supposed to pull Toby back when he was fighting?" It's like, no, they're pulling Tobey Maguire in 2023. They're like that Spider-Man, like in the present day of that.
Yeah.
So in that present day, both Spider-Mans are still alive. So that's why Andrew Garfield got that 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah. He's still super depressed about what happened with Gwen. You know what I mean?
And he's been whooping people's asses for a few years.
Like, I want to see that movie.
That's what I want. I want
that with him and Punisher, and they just kill everybody.
I'm tired.
And just throwing some Moon Knight.
Have Moon Knight in there. Whoop the shit out of people. Like, I'm tired. You killed my woman. So anyway, we gotta see how it goes. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. There's a lot of teenage angst, which got on my nerves, just like the last Spider-Man movie. But it was necessary to get from point A to point B, I guess. But yeah, it was emotional and I felt it. But anyway, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoy ourselves, please subscribe to this channel. Thank everybody in the comments. No Way Home is because he lost his friends and his family and he have anything else. He only has himself and a coffee date every week that he'll probably go back to get coffee from his lady. I agree with Chris. He mentioned her line about, if you expect to be disappointed, you'll never be disappointed, right? Like that clicked with her, right? He could be the ultimate stalker. He could be like, hey, I know everything about, let's just go out, girl. Let's just do things like I kind of know you, like we've dated for a while. And she's like, I love this guy. Like he gets me. It's like he could do that and just fall in love with her all over again. They're moving to Boston. They're moving to Boston, right? They're going to MIT, right? So he's gonna be in New York by his fucking self, hoping not just beating up everybody. But that's we gotta remember that they're not gonna be there long. So maybe that's how they write them off. Light skin Bulk. I'm sorry. I want to say Vulture's daughter, who he supposedly was in love with in the first movie, like she totally got shitted on. Because if I would have found out that was fucking that Peter Parker was Spider-Man and he put my dad in jail for life, I would be the next villain and be like, I'm gonna kill this fucker.
I just thought about something. Hopefully, in Morbius, obviously I know Morbius was supposed to come out last year, but the problem is now that it's coming out now. The scene with Vulture. I hope when Vulture say, "Hey, let's help take down Spider-Man." Wait, no, you're supposed to forget too. Well. Maybe just say, hey, I just know I got to get Spider-Man. I don't know why, but something dealing with Homecoming and something dealing with my daughter.
My daughter's mad as
I don't know what
it is. That's all I got to get back to the daughter. Anyway, guys.
I better not hear Peter Parker's name in Morbius is basically what I'm saying. All right.
All right. They may talk about the web crawler. I mean, they're gonna make mention. It won't be by name. But anyway, we'll do that. Sure. So you'll see us again, hopefully for Hawkeye. We'll figure it out. So Carlton, you'll be back for Hawkeye. We'll figure it out.
Depending on when it is, I should be here.
We'll figure it out, bro. We'll figure it out. We can get paid for this shit, so we can record it anytime we want. All right. Okay. So we will do Hawkeye when we feel like it. We will do Boba Fett when that starts. And we'll just work the schedules. But anyway, we gotta get on to the power. So thank you, Carlton. I will see you tomorrow.
Yep.